Thanks for tuning in. So, a couple years ago, when we were in Morocco, we had the fortune of taking a cooking class there, and one of the favorite dishes that we learned how to prepare while we were there was a chicken tagine with a preserved lemon, salted lemon. These are really great condiments. Something really fun to work with. Something you don't really see much here in the States, and so we've been kind of addicted to them ever since. And you can get a jar of 2 of these at Sur La Table. You can probably get them other places easier, but this is really one of the key ingredients in this dish. And one of the key things that we have to do almost before we can get started is you've got to cut it up, and you need to kind of separate out the skin, which you can actually eat in this case, from the insides, which we're going to use for some flavor. So this is going to be one of those spots where I'm going to do this, but then you're going to speed it up afterwards. So just cut the pit out, or cut the pulp out like so. And it doesn't have to be precise, but again, we want to use as much of what we have here as we can. And once a minute after we get ready, we'll be able to saute this. When I learned how to do this, we actually did it in a tagine, but as you can see with the tagine here, there's just not a whole lot of area. And if I'm going to make this dish, I really enjoy it. It takes a little bit of, doesn't take a lot of time, but it takes a little bit of effort. And so I want to have some around for the whole week so that I can continue eating off of it. And so I don't have to make something to eat every single day this week. So once we get the pit stuff separated, you want to just give that a really good, let's get the right kind of knife, mince it up, so that you can actually eat it. Get all the seeds out. Okay. I'll let that get warm. And since I'm getting on my way there, I'm going to go ahead and start by adding my red onions. This is just 1 red onion that I've cut up for this. Can go ahead and add the pulp at this point. This is all. I've also gone ahead and cut up 4 cloves of garlic. I like it garlicky. You can use just maybe 2, 3, whatever you like. But go ahead and mince that garlic up. It's good for you. The onions and the garlic and turmeric, I'm using a teaspoon of that. You're really good triumvirate for keeping you healthy through this cold and flu season. So almost everything I made in the last couple of weeks has got those 3 ingredients. I didn't plan on it, but here's another way it's in here. So I'm going to go ahead and add that to my dish. Again, teaspoon of turmeric. I've also got a tablespoon of ground cumin. This just really makes this dish, I think. I've also got a teaspoon of black pepper. A pinch of saffron seeds, or saffron, pinch of saffron. And I've also got some black cumin seeds, which I'm going to use. Not the Nigella sativa, the other one. Can't remember the name right now. And once that's in, let's just give that a stir. And we want to let that soften. I'm not using any additional olive oil because it really doesn't need it. So just get it a little wet, and that's usually good enough. So we're just gonna let that cook there for a minute. While that's doing that, I'm gonna go ahead and continue chopping up my lemons. This smells pretty good. And this you just want to mince up so that, again, so that it's edible. And all parts of it are edible. It's been soaking in this lemon brine. You can actually make these yourself. I know friends done it. Turns out just as good instead of paying the $8 at Sur La Table for 2 of them. I've also, I've been soaking some chickpeas now for about 2 hours with a couple bay leaves. I've got 3 kinds of chickpeas in here. I've got the regular white ones that you almost always see, but then I recently have found some brown ones and some black ones. So just thinking that it might look nice, I've just taken about a half cup of each of those for this dish. And that's going to be what we're going to use. Some of this stuff like the lemons here are going to go on at the very end. But since I'm here making a mess and doing lemons, let's just get them out of the way. You really can't get the flavor of this dish without actually using the preserved lemons. So if you can find them, you definitely want to use them this way. We'll carve some ginger. All right. Give that a stir. Add some more liquid. And we just want to let that simmer and let these flavors get together for a minute. All right. And once this comes back to bubble, I'll probably be ready to go ahead and do the chickpeas. And I think I'm just going to go ahead, and it came with a hot pepper. I'm just going to throw it in because I like it hot. And I got these bowls actually in Morocco. Not that it's important, but they're authentic. All right, this is going to go on at the end. It just gives it so much flavor. It's really good. Let's go ahead and add the cilantro. And I'm going to go ahead and add the parsley. Yeah, let's give those a stir too. That looks good. Nice color there. And I think it'll be just fine without the chicken breast. In fact, I know it will. So again, I've got these the chickpeas that have been sitting here soaking for a while. I'm going to go ahead and drain this water off and add them to our pot, along with a little bouillon. And I'm going to do 6 cups of water with that. Well, let's give that a stir first. Oh, that looks great. Oh, that's so pretty. And so healthy looking. All right, I'm going to do 6 cups of water since I've got 1.5 cups of chickpeas. And we want to definitely make sure there's plenty of sauce because you're going to want it. It's going to be tasting so good. All right. Now I've got all this in here. Fire this thing up. I'm going to do this for 13 minutes and let it go. We're back. It's been about 20 minutes and, I've run around the house. We did this, we did that. But that's the nice thing about cooking with the Instant Pot, right? Is that you can do just that. You can walk around the house and just let it cook. So I got some quinoa back here, and it's all done. It looks really good. You can't see it. Well, can if I show it to you. Good looking quinoa right there. Alrighty then. So, moment of truth. Let's see how this is doing. It's not been in here long enough, so I'm gonna have to let the steam off because who can wait? Because chickpeas. So that's probably gonna take a moment, and we're just gonna let it take the moment. This is a really, actually, pretty easy dish to make. It's got the onions, the garlic, the turmeric, all that stuff that's really good for you. It's also got some green olives that we're going to add here at the end, and some of that lemon peel from the preserved lemons that we added. The quinoa is a great way to go about it instead of using the couscous because it is high in protein. Helps to kind of make what I'd like to think of as sort of a complete meal or a whole meal. So last time I cooked this, I did do it in the Tagine. I did do it on the stove. I started from dried chickpeas, and it took me refilling the water, I think 4 times over the course of two or more hours to get it right. I've made this dish for several people, and everybody always loves it. Then they want to know how to make it. You can't beat the lemony flavors that are here, the salty flavors in the salted lemon here, the preserved lemon. It's so good. You really have to try it. The salt here from the olives also. That's another thing. Do not add any salt to this dish. There is no need for any extra salt in this dish at all. And please make sure you taste it at the end. These are, because of the preservation, are super salty on their own. And these are green olives, so they're super salty. So again, you don't need to add any salt. I haven't added any oil. There's no need for any sugar in this dish. Unless maybe you made it too salty. Just kidding. All right, so this is done. So let's open it and let's see what this is like. It's going to be wonderful, right? All right. Voila. See how this tastes. Yeah, needs a little more flavor, but that's going to come from the lemons here. And we're going to cook it down some now. Welcome back. Well, it looks like our chickpeas are finally done. So let's take off the lid and see how they taste. Smells good. Let's go turn this off. Get started again because I want it to cook down a little bit. Oh, that's good. It's really good. I don't like that. So, to serve it, you just take some of your quinoa, put it on the plate. Lemony chickpeas. Not pretty. Get all that nutrition. And that's it. You got lemony Moroccan chickpeas over quinoa.
That's really good. Make it yourself and see.